have a viewer on Zoom. Who could it be?
Uh-oh.
An attendee, Tim Smith. Hello,
Oh,
Tim.
Tim. I know
Welcome.
Tim.
Welcome, Tim.
Put my chat.
Awesome.
Of course. What, are you kidding me? Give me a break.
All right, man.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Tim's living in Boston now again.
Okay, cool.
Tim interviewed me, gave me my first break in Modern Drummer.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it was the Buddy Rich cover,
Mhm.
and he interviewed. It was supposed to be an interview for snare drums. Remember that, Tim? What's your best snare drum? And then he liked our conversation so much. He goes, you know what? I'm going to see if I get a feature, and he did.
Awesome. Beautiful.
You know,
I probably have that downstairs somewhere because I have everything.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, Tim.
Good to hear from you.
Go.
Tim
Well,
Smith.
this is great.
Boston.
All right.
How about that Brady, huh?
Oh, man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to rub it in. People from Boston.
Wow, yeah, that was pretty incredible. So for people watching, my guest is one of my favorite musicians, drummers. I've seen him many times, and his name is Tom Brechtlein, and it's a real pleasure to have you with me, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, thanks for asking me to do this. You know, I'm a blabbermouth, so I should be kind of
perfect.
Hopefully fun.
That makes two of us. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Tim made a comment here.
I come highly recommended from Chick.
That's awesome. So for anyone watching or anyone who joins either Zoom or Facebook, I'm going to be watching on my phone here, monitoring the Facebook comments. So if you have any questions, throw them in there. If you have questions, you're on Zoom, throw them in there and we'll get to them.
Yes, sir.
So thanks, man. It's good to meet you.
You too. Oh, you put that there. Okay, sorry. I think I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Anyway, why don't you share it, and they can see it on my. Never mind. Let's just do it.
I might be able to do that. So I'll tell you my quick story for people. I became familiar with Tom when I think it was the Tap Step LP, when LPs were the only option other than cassettes. So I got taps. I've got it all down in vinyl still, all of it, right? So I'm listening. I'm like, oh man, first of all, I've always loved Chick since I was like 12, 1973. My 7th grade English teacher said, you got to check out this guy, Chick Corea.
So, Chick Corea?
And then he goes, and Billy Cobham. I said, okay. So he gives me some vinyl. Of course, I'm listening to McLaughlin and Mahavishnu and everything. Return to Forever, Headhunters and all that. And then I was in college at the time, and Chick and the band were playing at a place called Drumlins here in Syracuse. And the whole percussion department got together. We all went, had a front row seat right by you. And I have to tell you, man, you know how it is. Like the record's beautiful. I still listen to it. I love it. The live thing is just, there's no substitute for that kind of thing.
No.
And that was such a great night. We got to talk to you afterwards. You were talking about how Chick, is so good, and the band at the institution of Chick, basically, you were saying is, build tension and then release.
Right.
Boom. And that was a lesson right there for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just with any kind of music, really, it's just keeping your ears open and checking out what's happening, especially stuff. And Wayne Shorter's stuff. I played with Wayne in 1985 and 86.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Wayne Shorter. And that's the main. It's really with anything you play, it's like you keep your ears open, and that'll tell you what to do.
Exactly. We have a mutual friend joining us, Skip Haddon. He's on Facebook. Skip?
Hey, how are you? Let's see if I can share this sucker. Let's see.
Yeah, I might be able to as well. You actually did share something, but it's not us.
No, it's somebody else. So let me go to your thing. Hold on, folks. Sorry to waste your time. Let's see. I'm supposed to be able to
Yeah, I can't seem to be
search
able to
here.
share it to your page. Yeah, if you go to my page, we're streaming live, so you should be able to share this.
Yeah. Let me but it doesn't have search. Hang on, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
No, but yeah, Skip says great concert at Newport with Wayne Shorter. I never saw you with
Oh,
Wayne.
that was the last gig we played that year.
Yeah.
With Wayne, and I remember, I remember, I used to, well, I endorsed Peisty cymbals back then,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember they gave me this. There were only 3 of them built. It was called a Bell Ride,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a 22-inch Bell Ride, and I loved that thing because it sounded like a real K, an old K.
Mm-hmm.
It had that really cool stick to wash ratio is what I call it. And oh yeah, it was like, and like Pisces cymbals back then, they near the bell of this one and near the bow of the cymbal, it cracked because it's a little thinner. So I drill holes in it, make sure. That's how much I love this cymbal.
Mm-hmm.
So after that concert, that was PBS at Newport. It was taped at Newport, and it was a great gig. But 2 things happened. Gary Willis's amp blew up. Like all of a sudden, this black smoke starts coming out of it. I don't know, was the cabinet or the amp? I think it was towards the end of the gig. I remember that. And then as they were breaking down the drum kit, I was on the ground. I mean, I was off the stage and in front of the stage, and I don't know if you can see. There's
Mm-hmm.
a boom stand, right?
Right.
So the boom stand falls off of the riser and goes this way, and the cymbal's still on it, and it opened up the cymbal like a can opener. And I went,
"Oh, jeez."
Oh,
yeah, that you heard.
The wind just blew it over. And I remember I was sitting there with my head in my hands. I go, I'm never gonna find a cymbal like that again. And Wayne comes around the corner. He goes, you know why that cymbal broke? And I said, why? Because there's a better one around the corner. And there was, it's like, in other words, Wayne comes up with some great gems. I mean that in a great way. He's very profound, he's spot on. He just has his own way of saying it, which I think is great. But if you take the time to listen to what he's saying, it's spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was just a little,
No, it's all cool. It's just whatever our conversations go is cool.
Yeah. So
I've only seen Wayne with Weather Report actually, and of course I have so much of his stuff on.
That was a hell of an experience, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So is Gary Willis. Wow, he's worked with a lot of people. So tell me, there
we go. Okay, I'm gonna share this right now. Look at this.
All right,
Mr. Share Guy.
You're the man.
Okay, so go ahead. What were you gonna say?
So I was gonna say that I've heard stories about Wayne from people, like he plays the way he talks, that he's real succinct in many ways in what he says, that he also has this type of like awareness of things around him.
He does.
Famous story of him with Joni Mitchell. Actually, I think it's Peter Erskine who told me the story of he's at a piano playing and she throws a ball at him. He's like, never looked away from the keyboards, throws it back.
That's Wayne.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty cool.
That's Wayne. Yeah, I used to love to watch Wayne. Well, I'd see him finish up a composition, and he'd be at his piano, and he only writes on one staff, and you can't see, but he always, the tongue goes to the side. He goes, and then, he doesn't erase anything. It's all done in ink, and his manuscript is beautiful. And when it dries, if it's not a right note and he doesn't want it, he'll take white out.
Oh wow!
And correct it. And then I hadn't seen him do it, but I think what he does is then he takes that and he copies it all again. I'm not sure about that,
Mm-hmm.
but I know he's at the piano, and I used to see him, and it was great. It was like like when you were a student doing maybe a paper or writing something, you kind of go, oh. And I
Yep.
thought that was the coolest thing, and just to see him do that. Not this, but
No,
writing
I hear you though. Yeah.
was absolutely amazing.
Well, he's just a gem all in all. Just even there's an
It's one
album
of the great. Yeah.
he put out on VJ like way back before Miles. That's just
Mm.
beautiful. It's smoking. I know he had a few on VJ, but there's this one I can't remember the name of it. But we have people watching. We have a good friend of mine, Stu Heinrich, great guitar player.
All right.
My mom.
Hi,
Hey,
Mom.
how you doing, Mom? Her Facebook went away, and now it's back, and she can watch Anthony.
So you got some other things. Let's see if I got some comments. Greetings from Germany.
Yes.
Greg
Oh yeah,
Pilga.
you can watch too.
Yeah.
Or hey, Pierre.
Anthony.
Oh yeah, Skip says dark sound with bright overtones on that cymbal you're talking about. Yeah, actually,
wow.
so
listening.
Anthony's wondering if you would talk a little bit about your first meeting with Chick Corea.
My first meeting with Chick Corea. Okay. It was on Long Island. And a friend of mine at the time, his name is Mike Garson, got me hooked up with Chick, because Chick was looking for a new drummer. I'll try and make it as short as I can. So Chick was coming through town, and we held the first audition at Mike's house. And I went through 3 bass players. That's how I met Chick. The first time I met Chick or ever seen him play was at Mike's house in Greenvale, Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought my drums, and Chick was passing through, and there were 3 bass players that came through. I was the only drummer there at the time, and there were 3 bass players. One was Ken Smith, the Ken Smith bass.
Yep.
The other one was Anthony Jackson, and the other one was Rick Laird.
Oh yeah.
that time. So I played with all 3 of them, and it was great. We played all the stuff. We didn't play all the stuff. We played some of the stuff from the Friends record, which wasn't released yet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff from the Manhattan record, which wasn't released yet.
Okay.
And then about 2 weeks later, Chick came through town, and they called me up, and it was the first Herbie Hancock Chick Corea duet thing.
Okay, like a solo duet, if you will. Like
the duet. Yeah,
okay.
And they were doing it at Carnegie Hall.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a call from Chick's management, and they say, Chick would like you to come down to the gig. So I went down to the gig. I was in a box seat with all the management and everything, and I don't know what's going on. I see all my heroes. I see Dave Liebman. I see John McLaughlin. I see all these guys. And I'm just a kid. I'm a kid from Long Island. I'm going like, what the hell's going on here? So nothing was said. So then the next day, he said, why don't you come during the day? We'll hang out. I said, okay, we'll hang out. So, and we hung out. I'm trying to make it as short as possible.
No,
we hung out.
I have time.
And then we went to the gig that night again, the second night. And during the intermission, he said to me, he goes, Tommy, do you live near here? I said, well, I live about 45 minutes away, and I was in Nassau County, so on a good night, it's probably 45 minutes away to an hour. Mm-hmm. So during their intermission, he goes, well, can you come back here and go to this address and bring your drums, and we'll play again? So I said, okay, great. So I went, and I drove to Manhattan at that time,
Mm-hmm.
So I took my 1969 Delta 88, drove back to Long Island, and put the drums in the car. I went to this, at the place with the audition. And there we were, and Jeff Berlin was there.
Oh yeah, right.
It's the first time I met Jeff Berlin.
Oh really?
This is 1978. This is way back. And I remember we played, and it went great. And he started talking with Jeff. I said, oh, well, Jeff's got the gig, and they're going to say, okay, see you later. So he goes, as I was leaving, he goes, I'll talk to you in a couple of days or something. Nobody told me yet if I had the gig or not. So on February 10th, at 10 o'clock at night, Chick calls me up and says, "Hey, Tommy." And I'm thinking, well, he's probably being nice. And he's going to say, "Nice try, kid, but, we'll see you sometime soon."
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't happen. That he said, "So listen, you want to come out on the road with me?" And I said, I kept it together, and I went, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, great, man. Here's a couple of records I want you to listen to, and the tour manager will be on the phone with you in regards to cases that you need for on the road, yada yada yada, and pay and all that stuff. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, talk money. Yeah." So I said, "Cool." So I patiently hung up the phone, and then I went, "Ah!" like that,
right.
Right. And I was pretty young back then.
Like when you almost need an adult diaper, right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, I was 20 years old at the time, and I might have needed an adult diaper at that time. I couldn't believe it, man. That was a great thing, and it was the first time I was ever on a plane when I went out to rehearse.
Oh, wow. Cool.
I was just a ho-dum kid from Long Island. I mean, I was street smart in a lot of ways, but street smart, Long Island, the country. East Meadow. So you have I grew up in Nassau County. So you have Nassau County, and you have Queens, which is on Long Island for all you Queens snobs.
There you go.
And Queens County, Nassau County, and then Suffolk. Now that's really the country,
Yeah.
But but we're like smack in the middle, South Shore, Mid Island. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
So I used to go in the city all the time. When I had a car finally. I mean, the city in Syracuse was probably the furthest I'd ever. Well, Virginia on one end and Syracuse on the other end was probably the furthest I'd ever been from home.
Mm-hmm.
Until that year, which I went all around the world and then some.
Amazing.
So did that answer your question?
That's cool, man. That's that band was what a great night. I think I saw maybe in 82 or 3. It was one of those two because I was in Chicago. You guys are playing at the Park West.
Oh, we played there a lot.
The only different thing I remember, 2 things. Don Elias was on percussion, I think.
Right.
And that was my first time seeing Lungs, as they call them.
Yeah.
And Benevent on bass instead of Bunny Brunel. Otherwise, I think it was Kojala and Vizzuti.
Yeah. And Elias joined in 1980.
All right.
And he was asked to play, and we were playing the Roxy on that same tour. We saw you at in Syracuse the first time, and he sat in and I had never met Don at that time, and I knew he played with Miles, and I knew he played drums with Blood, Sweat, Tears, and
I forgot about that.
I played percussion, and then Stone Alliance, and all that cool stuff. So I was scared. I'll say it. I was scared shitless that night, and of course they put the drums on the side. There's Chick's thing, bass is in the middle, and this is Bunny still playing, and they put the congas right. Here's the drum set. Congas are right there, so Don would be in my face. So Don showed up, and he couldn't have been nicer, and we hooked up instantly.
Yeah.
It was an immediate hookup, I kind of tried to become an extension of him and vice versa. And it was a great night. We played for I think we played 3 nights at the Roxy in Hollywood. And then he just came on the road, and we had a great hang. We got super tight, and I loved Don. And every time he'd be in Los Angeles when I was living there, he used to call me up, and the first thing he goes, "You ain't doing nothing, get me a gig, So I said, "I'll be right over. Where are you? Come pick you up, So and then we'd hang, But they called him Lungs. That's interesting. I think, was that Randy Brecker or somebody called him Lungs?
Who was I thinking of? George No, I don't know if it's George Whitty or I think it was George
Yeah,
Whitty
it's
who
probably
did it.
George Whitty. Yeah.
I think it was.
That's right,
Yeah.
because George told me. You're welcome, Anthony. This was the
Oh
story.
yeah, that's right. I'm glad you can see this. And there are a few questions here, so you
Well,
can
anyway,
get to them.
let me.
You can get to them whenever you want, or
Okay.
but
Yeah. Let me finish the story with the.
yeah,
So
please, yeah.
that same week, Elias and I went to the basketball court
Mm,
because it's apropos. And Don used to smoke Pall Mall straights. I
hmm
was smoking back then too, but and I hadn't played basketball in a long time. I mean, a long time. I was 20. At that time, I was 23. So, I mean, I can still play basketball, but you got to do it all the time. It's not just
sure.
here. It's in the legs and the arms and everything because you're moving back and forth.
Exactly.
So he goes, let's go play some half court games. And I said, yeah, let's do that. It's like before the gig, and
Yeah.
man, I I lasted through one game and I was like gone. He played, I think it was 2 or 3 more half court games and didn't, I mean, smoking. I mean, I think he was I'm not sure. Maybe somebody else could clarify it, but I think he was a candidate for the Boston Celtics at one time.
Oh, cool.
Not only was he like I think he was a bioengineer or something like that. So, I mean, I think he had either a bachelor's or a master's in, it
Yeah.
was some bio, I can't remember. But
Interesting.
he could sure play basketball, man. I mean, he was like he was killing people that were like half his age on the court.
He's I only met him one time here. There's a casino near us, like 45 minutes east. They call it Turning Stone.
Uh-huh.
And I saw David Sanborn with
Right.
I think it's Terry Lynn maybe and Richard Patterson.
Ricky
But
playing?
Don was playing drums.
Yeah.
Terry Lynn Carrington. Yeah, it's beautiful. So I don't know if you know Rick Montalbano. There's Rick Montalbano Sr., the piano player. Then there's Ricky Jr., who is a drummer with his wife, Jane Monheit, and a lot of other people. Beautiful
Right.
player. So Rick Sr. and Lou used to play with Lou Rawls.
Oh, wow.
They knew each other with Lou Rawls' band. And I got to meet Don Elias for a few minutes after that gig. And, the impression I had was, first of all, I'm 6'2", but I think he was taller because
Wow.
I don't look up to many people.
Right.
He was at least eye level.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He had energy that was vibrant and warm and positive, and he also was always smiling, and he was really funny.
Oh, he was hilarious. He taught me so much. He used to experiment with me. He used to see what I would come up with. He'd do a thing where he'd go, I'm not going to hit the drums like, but he goes, hey, Tom, what can you do with this? And he went, which is basically like a bata rhythm. Well, it is a bata rhythm. It's, what's this? It's an iya. It's played on the iya. Unga, right?
Mhm.
So I did a thing when we started playing. I kind of went. And I kind of did something like that. We're into 4/4, and we started playing, and he'd go like, he had this. You always knew when Don was really happy playing because spit would be coming out of his mouth. He'd go like that. He sounded like a freaking moose. But anyway, I mean, anyway, but back to lungs. I mean, now I know why he got his. So I used to call him Marathon Man because of that. And then I found out later from George which you're right, George Whitty, they called them lungs. And I went, absolutely. Guys smoking Pall Mall straights.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
So, around
my wife just said, where are you? Hold on. You heard it, folks. I love my wife. Evelyn's doing great, by the way. I was talking to Tim Smith.
Oh, great.
Okay, interview.
So I got for my mom who's watching.
But you got one from your mom?
Well, I wanted to tell her something. I don't know if you know anything about this, but
It's
I had
family day.
it's
Here.
so your wife, my mom, and my granddaughter's downstairs visiting. Cutest little
Oh, there you
3 month old.
go.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Anyway, so somewhere in the early 80s, late 70s, I don't know, Don and Joni Mitchell were a couple.
That's right.
And they used to go see, now I can't remember, Mom, the relationship exactly, but my great great aunt, Georgia O'Keeffe, who was, the artist, was,
Oh yeah.
in fact, my Georgia would go to my mom's house. She had been to the house when my mom was growing up in Westfield, New Jersey, um, and visit. And so mom got to meet Georgia. But John had funny stories. He wrote that. I don't know if you ever saw, and I can't find it. He was starting to write an autobiography, and the first page was so funny. My face and my abs hurt from laughing so hard, but I don't think it ever got published. But he had stories about Georgia in there, and Joni and Georgia. It was so funny.
What's funny? I'm watching. I'm listening.
With in the first page of that book, not to get off track, but you knew him. I didn't know him. Something in the first paragraph, like, I say this, Don, we love you. With all respect, I came from wherever and I played with all these great people and I'm so lucky and I fell in love with half the women I worked with and I love everybody and I play what I play, and if you don't like what I play, then you can, and if you don't like this book and what I write, then you can just shut the F up.
Yeah, that's
that was the first paragraph.
Yeah.
And if anybody knows if that book exists, I can't find it.
Oh, I hope I'd like to pick it up. I like to pick it up. We had little songs though. I had an occasional beer back then, and sometimes there was no beer in the refrigerator. So we both sing. We see no beer in the refrigerator, and we both sing. There's no brew in the fridge. Oh boy, over the rainbow,
Yeah.
Or what was the other stuff that we used to do? Like, is this gig free or is it, or are we getting paid? And you go, you don't got no money. You don't get the money.
What a character, man.
And I still use it to this day. It just comes out of my mouth. I don't even think about it. As an acknowledgement, Don would go, Osa, which means so solid,
Mm-hmm.
So I just catch myself saying it once in a while. I go, Osa. People look at me like, oh, Osa. No, it's great. Everything's fine.
That's great, man. So, yeah, you've worked with Chick on and off for years, man, right? I mean, I saw you in 2005 was the last time at Eastman Theater, Rochester, with Carlos Benavent again,
at the Eastman Theater.
Yep.
I worked with him from 78 to 83 and did 3 records with him. Pardon me. Secret Agents, Again and Again, and Tap Step, in that order.
Oh, okay.
And then also did the Again and Again. And then I'd work for him from time to time. Sometimes, when Dave Brubeck couldn't make some trio tours, I did a couple of those acoustic trio tours with him.
Oh, cool.
And so then in 2000, was it 2004? Yeah, 2004, he called me up and he said, you want to do this tour? It starts in March. I go, yeah, absolutely, So.
That's great.
And I was working, I'll tell you the story after. Somebody else. And there was stuff slated for January for that. And so, to play with Chick again, I basically, he said, what are you doing in March? I went, oh, nothing. And I might have had something, but I worked it out, so everybody was happy, I think. So, which happens in showbiz every once in a while,
Well, I mean, how could you say no, right?
And then we did 2004 to 2006.
Okay.
And then when I first moved to Austin, it was his 75th birthday bash.
Oh,
so he was there for a month. So
that was at the Blue Note in New York, right?
yeah. So I played with Carlos and Jorge Pardo and myself. No percussion this time.
Mm-hmm.
Rubem Dantas was on the other one in 2004, 2006. But anyway, so we played for either 2 nights or 3 nights. I think it might have been 2 nights, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
what happened was we drove all the way to Austin. I was packing like these containers, packing our house into these containers. Everything that was all week. About a week maybe a week before the gig, and I packed everything. And I remember I put in the last thing in the container, the U-Haul containers of our house, locked it up for the guys to pick it up, and my wife drove the rental vehicle out because I was so tired, and we drove to Austin. We took 3 days to drive to 2.5 to drive to Austin. So we get there, we got into the house. What was it? Oh no, no. We were there about 2 weeks before. Sorry. Then we got into the house like on November 6th. And November 7th, I went to the U-Haul place. Everything arrived. We got a moving company to move everything in boxes. We got everything set up on the 7th. Everything going. The couches, the TV, blah, blah, blah. Fix a couple of things. And then the 9th went right to New York.
Oh, wow.
And then played for 3 days and did some teaching over there. And then came back and, enjoyed Austin a little bit more, So,
so actually Bill Donnelly, I don't know Bill, but
Bill Donnelly,
Bill Donnelly, I've seen your name. I've seen your, pardon?
Bill Donnelly's a great friend of mine, great drummer,
great
educator.
I've just recently, when I've been talking with people, I'll see. So thanks for joining, Bill. He mentioned something about a 3-night with the Touchstone band.
Oh, then it was 3 nights. I guess it was 3 nights.
Yeah, 75th Killer Band. I forgot about Touchstone. Yeah. Okay.
That was
nice. So
that was a lot. Yeah.
So just let's jump forward a little bit. I'm just curious, and we can bob and weave around. If anyone has questions, go for it, please. But now you mentioned that since the COVID calamity started last year, you've had you've got your studio there. We had a person with a question about your home studio setup, and also you've been doing some tracks. And are you doing teaching and things like that too?
Yeah, doing teaching through Zoom, and I was able to hook it up to my my interface and all that stuff, so the students could get good sound, you know.
Sure.
But also I get a good sound through these Zoom cameras too, if that fails to work, and then I record it for the student so they can have a recording of something so they can go over anything that
Sure.
they may have missed during the thing. But that's been successful, and then been doing recording here for people. And some people want video with the tracks, and so I can do that, and it's a lot of fun actually. It's I didn't think I'd get into it at first. I hated it because you got to press all these buttons and stuff. But now I got a setup where I just go bang bang, and then let her rip.
Yeah, there you go.
We're done, So
sure.
So yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting. I learned a lot these past 8 months now. 9 months.
It's going to be a year next month.
It's going to be a year next month. Yeah. So 11 months. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
that's wishful thinking.
It's been an interesting year, and what I've found is there are quite a few people are out there and doing similar type of things, and they have projects where they're able to record tracks. Of course, before COVID, we're still emailing tracks everywhere. So I mean, that's nothing new. That's nothing new. But teaching Zoom, I mean, I discovered I can teach my Parkinson's workshops on Zoom. So I
Yeah,
do, every few
yeah.
months, every few weeks, we have a workshop, and it's not exactly the same, of course. You don't have
Now,
that.
how many people do you have at a time when you do the workshop?
Me, well, you
Like on
know,
Zoom?
and I've had as many as about 25 total.
Oh, okay, so is there more of the more people, is there more of a delay
I
the more
haven't had
people you
that
have?
problem. I
Okay,
haven't,
good. That's good to know.
yeah, I haven't had that problem at all, most of the time. And if it is, it's a temporary glitch that usually goes away quickly.
Right.
It might be I reset my router and sign back in or
Yeah,
whatever.
because I'm gonna dabble in like little master classes and group classes and stuff like that. If you want,
Sure.
whatever you want to call them, master, whatever they call them these days.
Oh,
But,
that'd be
you
that's
know,
good. So, I think the technology that we use makes a big difference. I got a new laptop last fall. It's actually only like $300, but I mean, this thing is screaming fast. My son,
what you
who's
get?
hmm, Lenovo, a Lenovo something,
Oh,
and I got like a $40 camera to put on because this microphone. This is the one thing that is really nice. The Sennheiser 441, because I wanted to have some
right.
decent sound. Um, decent. I got a $40 backdrop, propped it
Hell
up with a couple
yes.
pulls. Yeah,
You
so
know,
that's it. But I'm in my daughter's old bedroom here. You wouldn't know, but I mean, I'm
you
hanging
got
out
the
here, and
backdrop. You know,
right. So people don't know. But the thing is that it's a good internet connection and not too much invested. I can do what I need to do. I
right.
think, and you have more to deal with. Maybe different camera angles, so you have multiple cameras, probably, right?
Well,
And all.
I just have one, two, three, like for the feet,
Yeah,
for the overhead, and for what I'm looking in right now.
yeah.
And then I guess to answer the questions, I got my Shure mics. These are the 98s for anybody, and then a Audix i5 on the snare, and an i6 on the bass drum.
Hmm.
Let's see, bottom Shure 57, and what do I have here? I keep on forgetting the name.
Is it 57 on
SM8,
this? I'm
yeah,
sorry, is that
57.
on the snare?
Yeah, that's on the bottom.
Bottom
And
snare.
SM81s on the hi hat and the overheads.
Okay.
I'm just keeping it simple. You know what I mean? And everybody's, you know, I'm just doing it by when I was in the studios, and I just kind of walked in and I let them do their job, you know.
Yeah.
And a couple of tutorials on Facebook just to make sure I was doing it right.
Hmm.
And then when I sent it to a friend of mine who's an engineer in LA and also a great bass player, Hussein Jifri, and he's done a lot of records and recordings these days,
Hmm.
CDs, whatever you want. And
Downloads.
yeah, so yeah, right. So when I first got the room up and going, I recorded it, and he said, "Don't change anything." He says, "Everything sounds great." And since then, I haven't gotten any complaints. You know, I mean, with this production company that I worked for, I always say, "Did you have any problems with the sound? Were there any problems in phasing? Were there any problems with da da da?" You know, and and I said, "No, everything sounds great. Don't change a thing." So everybody, you know, one guy said, "How many mics are you using on that bass drum?" I go, "Well, one," you know. And he was telling me how guys. I mean, I know guys use like 3 mics or 4 mics, you know.
Hmm.
I mean, but that's when I go to a studio, you know.
Right.
So they said, "Man, it sounds great. Don't change anything." So again, that's another knock on wood thing. So I guess my motto in recording here is to keep it simple, and you have a lot of happy customers. I guess, you
That's
know.
great, man. Yeah, you said before we went live, you've been pretty busy down there in that studio,
Yeah,
right?
it has been. It's kind of nice. I mean, playing with people is the fastest way of doing something. But this is great too. It's apples and oranges, I guess. But the thing that's great is you can play off of people, you know,
Yeah.
and it's done. You know, okay, cool. Can we do another one? And but this time do it this way. And you go, yeah, sure,
Hmm.
bingo. You
Hmm.
know, and I have to thank my buddy. John Bastianelli at Personas, because we were doing loops for them. He told me to come down to Baton Rouge, and part of the deal was I got this the Quantum and a DP88, so I could have more tracks. So it's like having two Quantums, Personas Quantums, and for those earheads out there, the pre's are already in the are already in the interface. So it's like, there you go. So that's for the gearheads. I don't want to get too much into that, but because I'm not a genius in that area at all. I beat drums, and I like it that way, to be honest with you,
Yeah, well, with my little simple thing here just for talking, that's the furthest I've ever gone with anything, with help from the guy I got this microphone from, who is a TV guy. So a friend of, actually I met him through Jimmy Haslip. But are you a car guy at all? Do you like cars?
Unfortunately, I like cars, but I don't know a damn thing about
them. It's funny, on the occasion I see Dave Weckler talk or whatever, we've only talked about drums like once. Otherwise, we're talking cars or technology.
Cars, I only know if it's like, it feels great. I'd like to get an old Cadillac someday.
Oh, sure, yeah.
They're gas guzzlers. There's gas guzzlers, but man, what a ride!
Yeah, you're not kidding.
I don't know how the new caddies ride these days, but those old ones, the boats.
Like late 50s tail fins and all that.
Well, that too, but I'm talking about like late 70s, late 70s.
Some beautiful cars.
The real beautiful, like the real gaudy looking ones, like the baby blue with the white vinyl.
Yeah, the worst colors, but they look cool still.
And they feel great, and you got the climate control. I think that's the first time I saw a climate control thing. But man, it's like, you'll be paying up the nose for gas, out the nose.
Yeah, you can't even drive by a gas station, but they're fun to drive. I mean, it's like driving a house. The only reason I brought up cars is because the guy who I got this mic from is the host of the Meekum Auto Auction Show. If you ever scroll through and you see Meekum, MECUM Auto Auction, he's the voice, Scott Hoke. So he hooked me up because he had been watching. He says, I love you, dude, but you got to step up the sound game. So I did.
Oh gosh. Well, this guy asked me, Anthony Cusina.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to know what DOS system I'm using. I'm using a Logic Pro 10.
Okay.
My buddy keeps on saying it's not Pro Logic, it's Logic Pro. So.
Okay. And that one's out for me. I'm not familiar with anything like that.
Well, if I could do it, if what's that cooking show? If Jung can cook, so can you. If I can do this, so can you. I'm serious, because I'm stupid. I'm not stupid in other ways, but this,
No, I hear you, man. Christine is watching. Hey, I owe you a phone call. I am sorry, but mañana or maybe Thursday. So, all right. We talked about that. So right now, I guess one of the things I just wanted to make sure that we talk about for you really is that if anyone's looking to record, have a track done or a lesson, can they reach out to you somehow?
Yeah, they can reach out. They can reach out to me through tbrechtlein@gmail.com.
Okay.
I'll do it again. I'll do tbrechtlein@gmail.com, or hit me up on Facebook Messenger.
All right, cool.
Make it easy,
Cool, yeah.
How's that for shameless advertisement?
No, well, I wanted to make sure we did that because there's an interest in people are interested in knowing more about what's available. So I want to make sure they know they win, you win if you just do something together. Another person was asking about, let's see, master classes. when you do them, will you be promoting them somewhere like Facebook website, social media website?
No, I haven't promoted them yet, but like the thing, I just promote them. Uh, right now, just the lessons, and again, you could go to my email address, Brechtlein
Okay.
at gmail.com. I'm still working out the masterclass thing um, uh, because I mean the workshop rather, because I just wanted to make sure that the Zoom sync. I got everything else hooked up as far as sound is concerned,
Okay.
but if I can record the 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 workshop with everybody and send it out to everybody so they can have it, you know.
Yeah.
And I just want to work that out because the technology is so new, as far as audio and video,
Right.
especially like in Zoom, like and what's Skype, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that there's that delay problem, which I don't have anymore on Zoom with one-on-one.
Right.
But
Okay.
I just got to experiment and with 2, 3, 4, 5, and make sure that it's just not latency. You know, like you go and it goes like
Yeah.
that. The sound.
Yeah, that would be annoying, right? You don't want that.
Yeah, I want to give the guys something. Well, at least so they can see it at least,
Yeah.
and then have it later on, and even with everybody there, you can see it like right in sync. So
It's I don't know really about technology other than I have a good internet connection here and I haven't had problems. But
that's
when I
yeah. Go ahead.
used a different computer though, the computer was the problem. I think there are multiple possibilities of
Yeah.
problems and delays.
Well,
So
my buddy John from Personas, Persona, whatever. Uh, he found a solution for me with Zoom. What I do is I hook up Ecamm to Zoom, so you can
okay.
have multiple. You can have overhead, this way, and on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So he worked it out for me where he got there's this loop back and audio hijack, and
Oh,
now we're getting into going down the rabbit hole of like
that's
making it's
okay.
called a virtual drive.
Okay.
So don't hold me to this because I don't know what the. And he made it go right, so everything's hooked up and you can hear everything nicely and it's in sync and and you know, I mean, well, if you're gonna be locked up for a year, you might as well. If you're gonna have a headache, you might as well have a headache doing this.
True. There's it's been an interesting year, uh, full of challenges and hard times for a lot of people, but I have to look at in my case as opportunity to do things a different
Sure.
way.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had never actually done the sessions I do for cognitive rehab or movement or whatever. I had never done anything virtual
Hmm.
until late March last year because all live stuff was pretty much pulled the plug March 13th or 14th.
Yeah.
And so I was forced into it and it was scary, but now I do it all the time and I'm used to it. So it's all cool. So
Yeah.
it's been a learning curve, but it's been a good way to find an alternative to still
Yeah.
be able to help people.
And most of the time you find, okay, well, okay, A, B, okay, tab A goes in the slot B, okay, and then all of a sudden you find, oh wow, this connects up to this. So all I got to do is press the button, and then you go, okay, great, and then you go, oh, then something happens here, and then
Yeah.
you figure it out, and you have anxiety attacks for about 5 minutes, and you go, bing, and you go, oh, that works, fantastic, let's try it out, and
Yeah.
uh, geez, I'm telling you, uh, what was somebody
Oh,
wanted to make sure reconnect. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, anyway, never mind. Well,
there's another question from Tim Smith. Actually, he was just wondering what made you move. What was the cause for moving to Austin?
it was just time to move. I mean, I've been in Los Angeles for 36 years, and I just remember, it was, I don't know. I was just getting stale. I mean, the musicians are still incredible, and there are really nice people there, and for the most part, at least the musicians that I know and the people that I've worked with, I
Hmm.
mean, and I don't know. It was time for a change, and I remember coming back. I did this thing, which I think Bill Donnelly was involved in. Going back to my first time, we did a little um, sort of like clinic kind of thing, with the Long Island Drum Center and Frank Mediate at his place in Suffolk County,
Hmm.
and we did lessons, and then I did a clinic, and it was really successful, and it was a lot of fun. And so I got home from New York, and I remember my wife was doing some business in Florida. I had the dogs. I put my, you know, got the dogs back.
Hmm.
Well, we had doggy daycare, whatever. Doggy daycare. And I remember putting the bags down, having a cup of coffee, and I'm just thinking, I like it up here, but it's like I don't know. I just had this thought, and my wife called, Evelyn, and she called. She said, "What about moving to Austin?" Without even blinking an eyelid, I went, "Yeah, let's go."
There you
Because I
go.
know my buddy Roscoe, partner in
Oh,
crime,
yeah,
Roscoe
right.
Beck. I know Eric Johnson. I know Dave Grissom, who's an incredible guitar
Oh,
player.
yeah, yeah.
I Christopher Cross. I knew.
Oh man, yeah. I love that guy,
Know
man.
Tommy Taylor. I know Brandon Temple, who's a great drummer.
And
Amongst
Kirk,
other, I know.
Captain
Oh, Whipper. I know.
Captain Kirk is there, right?
And Kirk. Kirk was the first one who found out about me, and he
Hmm.
calls me. He called me up. He goes, "I heard from a little birdie that someone's moving to Texas, Austin." I went, "Yeah, you heard right." I was trying to, but Kirk, he's great.
He's funny,
He's
man.
awesome. Amongst other people, and it turned out to be a great move, and I love it here because in a lot of ways it reminds me where I grew up uh, in East Meadow, Long Island.
Sure. So
So that's
is
probably why it was just time for a change.
yeah. Oh, that happens sometimes. So just curious, two things on my mind. Number one, East Meadow, is that anywhere near Islip or Islip?
No, no, no,
Okay.
that's not even close to Islip.
Okay. I don't know
East
Long
Meadow is
Island
closer
very
to
well.
East. Garden City. Where Garden City is, Hempstead, and
Yes, sort of.
it's
I
still
should.
Nassau. It's still Nassau County. There's a place called the Nassau County Coliseum,
All
which
right.
I hope is still there. I remember that thing was being built.
Hmm.
I live near there and near Hofstra University, kind of.
Oh, all right. I know where you're talking.
Near there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's but not that close. But you know, uh, uh, let's see, Hofstra University. I'm trying to think. That's Hempstead Turnpike. So I'm trying to remember. But yeah, I lived around that part, like just before Garden City. If
Okay.
Well, just after Garden City, if you're heading east.
All right.
Um, uh, and No, Islip is way out
So that's
on the
out.
furthest east part of the island.
That's way out. Okay.
That's way out
Yeah.
there.
I know the only borough I know very, very, very well is Manhattan. I know
Right.
Brooklyn a tiny bit.
Well,
That's it. And I
you
don't
got
know
the
Long Island, even though I've
you
been
got
there.
you got the fish, right? That's Long Island, the fish.
Yeah.
So I believe you got Brooklyn, Queens, Nassau, Suffolk. Islip is
Oh,
out of here.
all right.
So Manhattan's like, I'm gonna get pelted for this. I'm trying to think. Here's East Meadow. Here's East Meadow. Here's Manhattan. Here's Islip.
Okay. Yeah, I got
you
you.
know.
Yeah, I hear you.
Here's Islip. But here's the Hamptons. Here's Fire Island.
Yeah. Okay.
you know.
Well,
So I
I
could have
was
been
only there to.
called.
Mhm.
We
Go
could be
ahead.
called. We could be called Queens Light.
Okay. All right.
you
Well,
know.
so the other thing I was wondering is in Austin there, do you have you worked with Christopher Cross?
Yes, I subbed for Tommy Taylor in 1983. It was an emergency call. I think Tommy, there was
Mhm.
some kind of illness that happened.
Okay.
I mean, temporary, of course. He's
Hmm.
fine now. And I learned the show on the plane, and we
Wow.
did that. And then I did a bunch of other shows with them, and we were happy, and everybody was happy.
You know
And
that
then,
album that came out in the early 80s with, Sailing and all that.
yeah, that was
Beautiful.
Tommy Taylor on drums, Andy Solomon on bass, Rob Muir on keyboards. I think Michael Amarty is there. I think Steve Barber was on keyboards on that too.
Okay.
Great composer. And Chet Himes engineered that sucker.
Really?
And Tommy had a great. He still has the Sonar kit, but I found out because I played on that kit during the whole week we were playing.
Okay. Oh wow.
And what they used on that on if I'm not mistaken, Tommy could tell you, but it's either a 20-inch bass drum or an 18-inch bass drum, and I think it was 8, 10, 12, and 14
Okay.
with no bottoms on it.
Oh
And
really?
those,
No kidding.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm guessing from what I remember playing his drum set,
Right.
and it was that small. And Chet got this huge sound out of it. Of course, at the end of the day, it's the guy who's playing. So Tommy got a big sound out of that drum set. I mean, and I said, "This is the kit." I said, "Wow, that's awesome!" It's awesome. I'll do my bad Christopher Walken imitation. I don't know.
Oh, I love that guy. He's great.
I can't believe it.
Do you know Leslie Ehrlich?
Yeah, hey Leslie.
She says, "You were amazing in high school. We all know it." High school, yeah, cool. Thanks for joining, Leslie. And actually,
Thanks,
Anthony has a question. Is there anything you're specifically working on these days to improve your playing?
I just play. I always just keep on working on my time and groove.
Yeah.
Sure. And keep my reading in shape. It's a little out of shape these days, but it's fine. I just always keep those in check. Those are the main things, Then I do these little things that I put on my Facebook page and other group pages, of course, for advertising. But also I call it the Mess Around series.
Okay.
And that keeps me kind of looking around.
Yeah.
I think of different ideas, and then I go, "Oh, that sounds good." I'll put that up there. Okay. That's how quickly it happens. It's not like, "Oh, what did I do on barf? So I think I'll punch that in." I just go, bada boom, bada bing, blah blah blah, boink.
There you go.
And then I go, okay.
That's fun to watch too.
Yeah, and now I'm getting into putting little titles on the graphics and stuff like that, all that kind of stuff.
So the latest thing that I have that you play on that I know of is the Steve Hunt. You did a tune on the Steve Hunt release that just came out I think it was January 25th.
Yeah.
We were talking before we went live. First of all, what an amazing musician. A great human being, and he's one of those
super nice guy.
Who, when he plays, it can cause me to emote because it's so beautiful. Sure. And it's usually happy, but I can feel all these different emotions going on. And I'm so glad you're on that. It's a great track, man.
I'm glad. I just want to add to Mark Mahoney. That is Tommy Taylor. Steve Gadd is on the second record.
Okay.
But no, that's Tommy Taylor on that first, beautifully played. And what was great about that record, it was a group. It was a real group, and you can hear it. And the results that was so great is, I think every tune was either on the top 20, the top 10, or the top 40. Every song on that record. So the proof is in the pudding when you have a really great group like that.
Yeah.
You keep them on. You know what I mean?
It's a beautiful album.
Anyway, that's just to the side. That's from Mark. Anyway, we were talking about
Steve Hunt.
Steve Hunt. Yeah. Do you want to know how that came about, or?
Oh no, it's just a comment from my end that I did want to ask you myself what you've been doing recently, where we can find some of what you've recorded, been on. But I know that this one just came out like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Beautiful
I'm glad
album.
Steve invited me to do that.
It's a beautiful album. Every tune takes me on a journey.
Yeah, it's really great. And Steve he's a great musician. He's a great guy, and he was great to work with.
That's cool. Had you worked with him before? Have you been?
Yes, I did a recording in Rhode Island
Excuse me.
I'm getting old timers disease here. For this great bass player in Rhode Island, and I'm sure he's going to be messaging me right now, saying, "What, you don't remember my name?" You know. Anyway, we met on that day, but I think we've met before.
Okay.
And it was fun. We had a lot of fun that day. I think we did 2 days of recording.
Oh, great.
You know.
Now, was that for a CD of his, or
No, it was for CD for the bass players. Don't ask me. I'm
the
gonna get in
bass player?
trouble.
You said that. Yeah, you said that, and I spaced out for a minute.
Wonderful guy. I just can't. I'll remember his name when we finish this thing, and I'll call you at 3:00 in the morning saying,
"That's fine."
Bloody blah. Oh gosh, you know.
So when was that? When was that recording?
Oh Lord, that was probably around 2008, 2009. You know.
Okay.
And I think that's when we did it. Yeah.
Mark Mahoney says, "What a collection of players on Steve Hunt's new one." Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no
it's a beautiful lineup. Yeah.
What a bunch of posers. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
What a bunch of hacks. You couldn't get anybody that could play.
You know, the word poser is really funny because I learned that word early on in my days of gigging, very young, when this piano player who is really great, he just takes me on a break. He says, "Stop being a poser. You're not Philly Joe Jones. You never will be. Be you."
Whoa!
Be you. Because I was really trying to cop all the Philly stuff. Like anyone can actually do that, you know?
Yeah, right.
And I learned very early on that it was important to be yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even when you're not playing.
Absolutely.
When you get on stage, you know, you don't have to be like the coolest guy in the room. You just have to be yourself and just be all right, you know.
Do you ever, in your teaching or master classes or anything, besides talking about music, whatever, drums, interpretation, whatever, get into discussing anything about perspective, interaction with other players, professionalism? I'm asking you this because you wouldn't be doing what you're doing with so many great players and being such a great musician if you didn't have all that stuff together.
Well, as you know, it's a continual process.
It's like a journey that you never actually arrive, but you're working on it, right, all the time.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I forget my own what I say to people, and I get my, not perfect, but it's like I always say that when you sit down and play with new musicians or with musicians that you play with, especially being a drummer with bass players and piano players and guitar players, it's like check out where the other guy lives first.
Right.
Not like I'm here, this is my thing, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Check out where he, feel him out, it's just like, just by the playing, where does he like it, what's going to make it come together without talking at first,
Well, you're like a prime example, in my opinion, of the professional who goes in. You can do all kinds of beautiful stuff, but you really have such a knack for an amazing way of bringing out the best in all those around you, right?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably because they bring the best out in me. No, I'm serious. I'm not trying to be humble and false humility, but it's about like we're talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it should be. I mean, the people say conversation. Yeah, conversation, sure. And you got to be willing to talk to the other guy. That's why check out where the other guy lives. It's like, because we're basically, really, if you want to think about it, whether you want fries with that kind of guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes you got to leave the fries with that and lay down the law once in a while. But really, like, what do you want? What do you need? What's going to make you feel comfortable? Because we're the engine room,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be like, oh, what do you want? What you can't do that all the time. because you have to hold your position too, or else the thing will fall apart. But you have
Absolutely.
to keep that in mind and be, I guess, service orientated, if you will. At least
Well, yeah,
that's me.
it's a
That's me.
right. It's a responsibility for the intention of the music, the what the leader maybe or the group as a whole wants to put out there in a statement, right?
Yeah.
Musically, so
Well, the band's got to run on all cylinders,
right.
or else it's not going to be able to convey something to an audience. And then the
That's
audience
always
becomes the band too.
yeah.
You know.
It's funny that I know you have to have done this with Chick, right? He always turns around and gets the audience involved at some point, and it's so much fun when he does that.
Oh well, we
I
did a
love
gig.
that.
We did a gig one time where we do. You end with Spain. You end with the hit song.
Sure.
And we did Spain, and then he'd start with this riff. He'd go da 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 da, a vamp. One time we went like I think it went. I think it did a medium tempo, and then everybody starts. Don Elias starts getting out of the percussion, cowbell. No, maybe a surdo drum, or maybe Chick would get a surdo drum, and I get a shaker, and we'd start walking off the stage. And we've done that a number of times. And we go out, take the whole audience out on the street.
Oh, no way.
Go around the theater and have them come all over the theater, back into the theater, and then back sit down, and then end the concert that way. We did that about 3 or 4 times.
That is
in
really
1980 and 82. Yeah, I mean, you don't know what he just decided to do it. We all got up and started doing this. Just, walking down the aisles, and people started following us, clapping and stuff.
Great.
And then we said, "Hey, let's go outside and see what happens."
That is so cool.
We went around into the alley, came right back around, got in, and they all got back in their seats again, and they sort of like
great,
Andy Kaufman. We're all going to go out for milk and cookies after the show. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing like that, I guess.
Well, it's funny how he'll take and we have a couple questions. I'm gonna Anthony and Tony. We'll definitely answer these in a minute, but I have a nice segue for Tony's question about talk to your daughter. But anyways, the times I've seen Chick where he involves the audience, I love how he starts out real simple, and then he'll go into some modal stuff and rhythmical stuff and modal at the same time. And the audience, a lot of times they're pretty on. Like,
oh yeah,
they got it, man. They're getting the intervals, they're getting the rhythms, and then he gets more complicated, and they get more complicated.
Are you talking about the audience participation thing?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Classic. He wants to see how far they can go, so he's like, okay, we do this.
Yeah.
How about this?
Yeah, I love it. So, I have only ever seen you in person working with Chick. There are other situations I've wanted to come see you, and at those particular times I couldn't. I remember you were here at there used to be a bar here that brought in some nice groups called Copperfields, and you were there with Robben Ford, the Blue Line, and probably Roscoe, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to go. I could not go. I couldn't get a sub for the gig. I called like every drummer. I think they were seeing you that night, and they weren't going to sub for me. So, anyways, I wish I had seen that band. I didn't. But Terry has a question. She's curious to know if Talk to Your Daughter was that recorded in one take?
I didn't record Talk to Your Daughter. That was Vinnie Colaiuta.
Okay.
The album Talk to Your Daughter was Vinnie. Before Robben actually had a touring group. That was and the Talk to Your Daughter record was definitely, excuse me, I'm running out of battery power. The computer.
I should have known it. I forgot who it was. Yeah.
But I think from what Roscoe told me, I think knowing Vinnie, it was probably done in the first take, and they might have done the second take because you want to see if you could beat the first take. I'm not sure. But that wasn't me. I was on the Robben Ford, the Blue Line record, and then the record after that.
Okay, all right. Couple of other questions. Anthony's wondering what were some of the game-changing moments in your career. Actually, I was going to ask that too. I'm curious if you've
Oh well,
had any like particular, like just the biggest epiphany or game changer experience or
number
whatever.
one was getting the Chick gig.
Yeah, sure.
That night when, hey, you want to come on board with me?
Okay.
And then there was a game changer that got me in trouble. And it's funny, I never thought Chick remembered it, but he remembered it like years later, and he never mentioned it. And he goes, "You remember when da 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 da?" I went, "Yeah, I remember that. I remember we were in Oslo, Norway. I know actually before I used to hang out with Dave Liebman, and he would bring me to these great gigs. After if we were like Copenhagen, and I'd go see, Billy Hart, play with Philip Catherine and Niels Ostrid Pedersen, in these little clubs,
Wow.
and Sweet Edison and Eddie Lockjaw Davis.
Whoa.
But one night we went down to this club, and Steve Kuhn was playing with Harvey Schwartz and Bob Moses.
Oh man, yeah.
And I used to, so I'm 20 years old, and I'm still getting into stuff, and I know what I know. And I said, but he goes, I said, Bob, I said, they're breaking down, and he's got his drums all broken down, in his cases and stuff. And he goes, and I went, Bob, how do you play out like that over the bar line and know where you are? And he said to me, this is 1978. He goes, just sing the song, man. And I went, oh, it's like, yeah, sing the song. If you know the changes, if you can sing the changes in your head, you're always going to know where you are. I mean, it's obvious, So we started playing air drums, and we're singing all the things you are, da, 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 and I'm singing rhythms while I'm singing, the tune, and I'm taking it out. Oh, this is great. So the next song's like a kid with a new toy. But that was the game changer there. But it got me in trouble because the kid with a new toy. So we go. This is the 13-piece band. This was Rick Laird, myself, Dave Liebman, Chick, Al Vizzuti, Jim Pugh.
Oh yeah.
Bob Zazzola on trumpet, Ron Moss on trumpet. Then it had a string section. Carol Shive, Paul Hochhalter, Judy Geist, and Charlie Veal. We played everything from Mad Hatter we played everything from Leprechaun to Mad Hatter to My Spanish Heart to the Electric Return to Forever stuff to the acoustic Electric Return to Forever stuff. We played everything. Anyway, so that night we're playing, and I start taking it out, and I'm singing the song in my head. Man, I'm coming right on one. Lehman's going, yeah, man. She's kind of looking at me. I said, what's the matter with Chick? It's like, everything's coming out all right. He goes, no, so then we were in the middle of this other thing, and Chick looks at me, and he goes, on stage, and he goes, groove! And I went, oh, shit. I'm fired. I'm going home tomorrow, So we had a little discussion on the intermission. He goes, who told you to play like that? I said, well, I was with Bobby. He goes, then he hesitated, and I knew he kind of liked it, but he wanted, he gotta, I was doing it too much, and he said, well, we'll work on that tomorrow. You could tell he was like furious, and then all of a sudden he thought about it. He goes, and I could tell he went, well, what you did was pretty cool, and he said, well, we'll work it out tomorrow. And then I already knew. I said, spread it out. Don't use it a lot. Use it when it's necessary, But,
it's a great story.
It's like learning on the job, It's like, by the seat of your pants, which that's
a great story, man. Yeah.
I was like, and, it's the intermission. We have another part to play, and I'm going, and I'm thinking, oh, my God. And, this is my first big tour.
Yeah. And
I'm going, oh, I'm so fired. Like, my heart just dropped. And then I realized what I did. I said, you idiot, But that's how you learn.
Well, it is,
you take your lumps,
I was talking
What's
with
one
somebody.
of the ways you learn?
I think Skip Head and I were talking. Skip, are you here with us? We're talking about that, about these growing pains of putting yourself in a situation, trying things. And Skip, we have a thing we do. We just started doing. So far, it's been mostly on Wednesday mornings,
Uh-huh.
like this, 11 a.m. Eastern,
Right.
and we just talk. Basically, I just ask questions, and he tells stories, and it's really fun, you know.
Yeah.
But we were talking about these growing pains. You know, you have to be out of your comfort zone sometimes and experiment. If you
Absolutely.
don't experiment, uh, well, you probably won't get as far, right? So you did an experiment, you worked it out the next day.
Yeah.
That's cool
I'm
though.
glad it worked
But
out.
Bob Moses, holy cow, man, that
Yeah, but
guy.
Bobby, I have to. That was a big game changing for me
Hmm.
personally about music, you know,
Sure.
and about playing jazz. I mean, I can play jazz. I mean, it's like so it's just about playing music in general, and it was like sing the tune,
Hmm.
and then I forget that I'm doing it, and then people come up to me and they go, "You sing the tune, don't you?" I went, "Yeah," and I'm thinking, doesn't everybody, you know? And I hope so. I hope so. In everything they're playing, because the next text is going to come up when there's the next change or when the bridge is coming.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know, and and that's what you look for while you're reading too. If you lose your place, you're going to hear it. Oh, the bridge. Oh, the chorus.
So there's a tune. I'm sure you've played it with Chick 1,000 times. Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah.
So I've never been. I've always been too lazy to like go and look and try to find a chart for it. But somewhere in there, especially when I'm listening and see different versions of it on YouTube or listen, there's a couple extra measures in the here and there, right, in the form of the tune.
No.
No.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. I think. Let me see. Maybe it's probably just. All right. No, hang on. Let me play it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because usually Chick writes. So let's find out. Yeah, I guess so. This is probably 2/4 bar in there.
Oh, thanks for doing that. Because
everybody, but I only think about it as not 1, 2, 3, 4. I just think of.
A couple other tunes that are
So forgive me for not knowing that.
Oh no, that's cool. Well, sometimes it's just more of a feeling, and the counting could get in the way and screw you up and all that kind of stuff. And then but I was playing this tune years ago. It was the one. Oh man, I can't remember the name. It's a Herbie song, and it's all in 4, but it didn't feel like it.
You're talking about Actual Proof?
Yeah, that one. I didn't know it's all in 4.
2, Oh, sorry, I turned it around. I'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Da 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 da. Ba da 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 da. Da ba da da da. Ba ba da da. Ba 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 ba. Ba da 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 da. Da da da. Ba da 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 da. Ba 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 da da. Ba 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 da 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 da. That's it. And it's the form. It's like
Yeah.
Like, again, you got to sing it because it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, I'll play it a little bit. I know it's going to be out of sync, but what the hell?
No, that's okay.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Instead of,
But I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, that's not like Mike Clark, but thank goodness for Mike Clark.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we were playing that song, rehearsing. I'm like, I had to restructure it in my own mind and then go with that feel. And then the guy, Jim O'Mahony, who's just this amazing keyboard player I love, favorite band ever. Mom, you were there. You saw Jim and probably Max and me in Oneida. But anyways.
Hey, Barbara Farino.
Hey, Barbara.
Classmate from East Meadow High School.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and then he laid the chart on me, and I was totally messed up. Like, you're kidding me! It's all in four because at the end there, and okay. Well, then it actually helped me. But there was something else that I wanted to ask you here. Somebody. Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask this because I'm curious about this too. So Mark Mahoney was asking about your time with Kenny Loggins.
Well, yeah, that was a 7-8 year stretch. It was great.
He's done some great music, man. I used to play some of his tunes in a band, of course.
He's an amazing musician, and
that's great.
And how you would, I started out as a sub, and you don't have your rehearsal is basically the sound check.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, but what they do is they give you for any chair in the band, they give you isolated like drum parts with the band. Mm-hmm. And then what I did is I learned them all. When you're subbing, you kind of learn how the other guy plays a little bit. Sure. So because the singer's going to be used to mm-hmm. that guy. So mm-hmm. even though you say, "Oh, I'm going to play my fill," he might be used to that fill that the other guy's playing.
Yeah.
So I would start off doing that, just so, and then they get comfortable with you. Then you can start. Then I would slowly start putting my own stuff in there. I remember one day. I mean, because he was very particular about stuff, and one day, the story it sounds like can't bring up certain things, but
it's okay.
It was great though. But I remember he said I think it was on Your Mama Don't Dance or something, and he wanted to do a mild shuffle on the guitar solo and then ramp up into mm-hmm. a heavier shuffle. So during sound check, I went. This was when I was playing for a bit, and so, and I was still subbing. I think it was the second month I was subbing with him. He wasn't. Anyway. And I figured, well, I'll just play the blues double shuffle, mm-hmm. Chew tobacco.
Right.
So, mm-hmm. so I did that, and he stopped the band, and I went, "Oh, geez, what happened?" He goes, "There he goes, changing the book again." He goes, "That's great," and I went to the bass player. He says, "Is something wrong with him?" He actually complimented me, But Kenny the thing is, Kenny's very cool, and he knows if you're doing the thing, you don't need to be complimented or anything like that. But once mm-hmm. in a while, when you're not looking, he'll go, "Gosh, that sounded great," and you go, "Oh, thanks,"
Yeah,
so
that's cool, man.
But it was great. I mean, I learned a lot on that band, and one time I saw him. I saw him actually we were on the bus and he had his, Pro Tools out or whatever. And the way he was writing and putting stuff in there, it wasn't like this. I realized he didn't think about the tune this way as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
Like he already had the tune finished in his head.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I said, and I just got the picture. It's weird, but I got the picture. Like an idea. With the computer. And I just went, man, you don't think of it this way. You've already got it like this already, from beginning to end. You just go like you're putting a stamp,
mm-hmm.
like
mm-hmm.
tune, And he was very humble about it. He goes, well, I've been doing this for a long time, Tom. I go, yeah, but it's like, I mean, it's kind of genius, It's like he just kind of go like, and I wasn't kissing his butt or anything. It was just an observation,
mm-hmm.
And I was just like, holy crap, He was thinking like this, you know what I mean? Not like that, like okay, we're going along like this, It was like it's the only way I can explain it. It was like, it wasn't like, whoa, wait, It was,
I understand. Yeah, I totally understand that.
And that amazed me. And I'm sure, like other great songwriters, probably Michael McDonald, things like that. Although I can't say, because I've never seen him compose, But,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but great songwriters, it's like wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, two things real quick. I'm curious, what other projects? Is there anything coming up that you want to tell us about, like releases you're on, or something you're putting out there yourself?
No, I'm not putting that out there myself, but there's this project that I have. Well, no, I don't, but we have. And I've never met the other guys yet, but I've talked to them. This guitar player and composer who I played with in L.A., and also he played with War and a few others. And he's a great guitar player. His name is Sandro Albert. Okay. And I remember during this whole thing, he called. He said, Tommy, he says, you want to. Would you like to do this? We have a group, and he played me some of the stuff, and I said, I'd love to do it, And this is the beginning of the pandemic,
mm-hmm.
So, and plus, I could mess around with the videos, So we did the first track, which is called Stroke, and the group is called the Homeboys.
Okay.
And you can go to the website. I don't know not the website, the YouTube channel. And I guess you could go. I don't know what I'm sorry. I don't know what I don't know which YouTube channel. I don't know about the link. I could probably.
Yeah, but you could probably search that, right?
So you can search at Homeboys.
The Homeboys.
Yeah, and they're let's see. Hang on, I'll tell you in a minute.
I'm actually gonna look myself.
I'm gonna look myself. And
I'm gonna look myself.
I'm gonna look myself.
That sounded weird when I said it.
Don't do that.
I'm going to look myself. Skip sent me something here, and actually he made a comment earlier that I wanted to go back to, and then I forgot. I'm sorry, Skip. He sent me an email. It says Vasanti Blues with Kai Akagi.
With Kai Akagi.
I never knew how to say that man's name, but I've seen him perform. I loved it. There's something in 1990 that you're on. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to tell you. Yeah, go ahead. And then I'll tell you who's in the Homeboys.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead with the Homeboys.
Okay. Sandro Albert, guitar. Jesse Lynch on keys. Omar Kabir on sax. And Michael Rorby on trombone and trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Michael plays not Jesse. Omar plays trumpet as well.
Okay.
And Casio Duarte on percussion, and myself. And we got a bunch of stuff. I don't know how you get the link.
Well, I'll probably be able to find it, and then I can I can put it up and tag you.
We got the first thing we did was Stroke, and a tune called Stroke, and actually, hold on.
Yeah, I'll be able to post the link up
And,
there later. I can share it with you,
yeah,
and you can
yeah,
post it on
and
your page too.
yeah, okay, great. And let's see, because there was different. Hang on. Bashiri Johnson was playing. He plays on most of the percussion, but Casio Duarte just got on board with playing percussion, and they're all great musicians. I mean, I know Casio, and I know Bashiri, and
Okay.
I've known of their playing, but and Derek I've known for a while. He's great, and congratulations to Derek. He freaking beat cancer, man. I
Oh.
call him Miracle Man, and not only is he a badass bass player,
Mhm.
and he's an incredible person, and we played Frank Bali together on a gig. And
Oh.
we played some other times together. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But he's a great guy, amazing bass player, and a miracle man. He's just
That's
man,
scary, man.
.
Cancer's scary stuff, man.
Yeah.
So many. We have different comments here. Strike by Tom Scott or Stroke, maybe.
Stroke.
Stroke by
Stroke.
Tom Scott. Then
Like don't have a
you
stroke.
got it. Yeah, you got it. Brandon Fields.
Yeah, you got it. I just taught a fellow from Germany. I've never tried it before. He said, I want to learn how to play You Got It. So now I got to transcribe it for him. And I don't know what the heck I played. Anyway, what was the question?
Just comments. I think acknowledgments that these people
Oh,
like
yeah.
these. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to play. That was a great group of guys,
The homeboys, home fried.
Yeah.
Anthony. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of them. I named that one, Home Fried.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there was one called Dig. I named that one too.
Cool.
I'd hear these tunes and I go, "Hey, what do you think about this, Sandro?" And he goes, "Oh man, it's perfect."
That's great, man. So, well, I could talk for hours. We might have to do a part 2 down the road here in a few weeks.
Yeah, I know.
Like
I told you I talk too much.
No, you don't actually. I can too. I mean, I can just go and go, and when I say this, I say it because I mean it, not because I'm just trying to make you feel good. But that first show when I saw you with Chick, probably 1980.
Right.
That was just a game changer for me in a lot of different ways. And then, the whole percussion department, which was maybe 8 of us, small, but we were all talking with you afterwards, and you were so cool and generous with your information and time, and just talking about what we talked about before we went live. Something that just stuck with me ever since. I'll never forget it. You're talking about how Chick, builds and build and build and tension and this and that, and then release, and then the next soloist starts up and it's very sparse, and that build release, and taking your time to do it too, because some of those songs went on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I remember 500 Miles High, boy. We used to call it, back in my neighborhood, we used to call the solos at its peak, or you have to check out where the guy's peaking.
Yeah.
And okay, you get where he's peaking, and then bang, like buddy of mine, Biff Hannon, great.
Oh, I remember Biff from Maynard's band.
Great piano player,
Yeah, I remember. I saw him with Maynard a few times back in the day.
Biff is one hell of a musician. He taught me a lot too.
That's cool.
I remember one time we had just as a side, it's another good story.
Sure. We love stories.
This is when I was dating, and I'm pretty fair skinned. So I took this girl to Jones Beach, and we hung out, and she was very tan, and I wasn't. So I got sun poisoning. I had a gig that night at a place in Manhattan called The Home with Biff.
Oh.
And we played, and I had like Ambisol, not Ambisol. I had one of those, pain relief. Not Ambisol. That's weird. But anyway, spray. Anyway, it's for sunburn.
Oh, yep.
And I could still play, for some strange reason. And I made it to the gig, and the first tune was Actual Proof.
Oh, really? Cool.
And we were taking it out, super out, And I remember Biff always had a way of saying things that was just great. And it would make me laugh and make me feel good. And we finished the first tune, and before they could call off the second tune, Biff turns around and he goes, "Hey, Tom." I said, "Yeah, Biff." He goes, "What did you have for dinner, my man?" And I just started laughing. I thought that was great. It was a nice compliment. "What did you have for dinner, my man?"
Such a riot, man. That just reminds me, I'm having a COVID brain moment here. Going back to Biff. Oh no, I was telling you, you were talking about the build and release, but it was just from the time I saw you, then I started, buying stuff. Of it, Tommy's on it, I gotta buy it. Okay, the Robben Ford and the Wayne Shorter and of course now, go on YouTube, you can see all this stuff, and it's really cool because now I can watch, and I love that. Although sometimes watching distracts me, and I don't hear as much because I'm watching. But I like both aspects of music, is being able to see and then just listen and see what you imagine in your head. But you're the whole intention behind this series, if you will, of talking with the players, that's the name of the playlist, is that you've had a really big impact on me, and I appreciate all the great, and obviously a lot of other people too, a lot of people, and we appreciate you. You're important to us, and you're taking this time with us. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate. I mean, it sounds corny, but it's true. I appreciate all the listening, and that. I mean, as far as what I played on and everybody else played on, I mean, it's appreciated the same back. I don't know how any way to put it, but
No, and it's really almost feel like, even though we really haven't met, like I know you kind of. Of course, we have mutual, so I won't tell any stories, but Jimmy Haslip and Jeff Richmond told me some great stories about you in a different situation, maybe another time.
Oh, what's that? What's that?
No, I can't do it, man.
Oh,
it's a guitar. It's a guitar player. If you say it, we can go with it. If otherwise, I don't.
It's a guitar player. Never mind. I don't know.
No,
I do imitations.
Actually, really, really funny stories, man. Really funny stories. Not about you, but about situations, and Jimmy, and Jeff really.
Oh yeah, Jimmy, man. I was like, "Hey man, how's it going?" Well, Jimmy was Larry Klein and Jimmy Haslip were the actual reasons how I got connected with Wayne Shorter.
Okay. Neat.
Yeah, Larry Klein asked me to do it first.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "You want to play with Wayne Shorter?" And he told me the dates. I go, "Oh man, I can't. I'm committed to these dates." And when I hung up the phone, I went, "What did you just do? You're an idiot. So I did this gig over the weekend. Came back into town, and who calls? Jimmy Haslip. He goes, "Hey Tom, would you like to play with Wayne Shorter?" I went, "Yes." Because the other gig got canceled, but if it didn't get canceled, I was going to find a replacement for me.
Yeah.
Because I realized after the fact, and Jimmy was, both Larry and Jimmy were very, and well, Jimmy's the one that got me hooked up tight, and he's always been a big supporter, and I love Jimmy. I love playing with him too.
He's great, man. I've only recorded one solo CD in my life, which really has to do more with a Parkinson's fundraising.
Right.
Well, because we were talking, this is public knowledge. Jeff Richmond, when Jimmy called me and say, "Hey, I got a guitar player who has Parkinson's. Can you help him out?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." Then I find out, oh, it's Jeff. Well, I've got like 12 of his CDs. I've been following him for literally 20 years, and
Jeff's a hell of a musician.
Oh my gosh, he's a great writer, composer, funny, and beautiful. And so not that anyone wants to hear my story, but I'll say it anyways, real
Go
quick.
for it.
What happened was Jimmy, we'd met through a mutual friend up here, Edgar Pagan, and that's why we probably go back. I don't know, really getting to know each other well about 12, 13 years ago, Jimmy and me. And he's just always been, he's one of those guys who he'll just call you up out of the blue. I'm a nobody. You know what I mean? Hey, Carl, how's it going, man? I just want to check if you and your family okay. But
Yeah, he's like,
that's
that's
Jimmy, the
Jimmy. Long
quintessential
Island,
Jimmy.
man.
Oh
Port
yeah, and
Jeff
he's
from Port
Huntington.
Jefferson.
That's
Well,
right.
Huntington, Port
Yeah,
Jeff.
Huntington. That's right.
Suffolk County.
Yeah, man. So I was supposed to teach. I did teach my Parkinson's course in Los Angeles, and this is going back 3 years, 2 years. I met Jeff 3 years ago via like Zoom phone calls and stuff, just
Yeah.
helping with some things, trying to minimize any kind of tremors so it didn't get in the way of the picking of the strings and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So I said, "Yeah, Jeff, come into my workshop. You're my guest. It's 2 days. Blah, blah. Okay, yeah, I'll be there." He said, "Well, while you're here, we're gonna jam. I'm like,
Yeah.
"We are." I haven't picked up a pair of sticks in 5 years. He said, "You don't want to work with me, man." Oh, come on, we'll just do it. In fact, there's a studio down the road, and Paul Tavener. You probably know Paul Tavener at Big City Recording.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Gordana Hills. We'll go down to Paul's place. I'm like, "Oh crap, Jeff, love you, but no." He said, "No, we will. In fact, we'll get Jimmy to play." It's like, wait a minute. I'm the wedding band king in Syracuse, and now you're talking about Jimmy Haslip, and like, no. But you know what? We formulated a project. Okay, I'll just real quick. We ended up with a CD, and Jeff and Jimmy and Scott Kinsey.
Oh, that's great.
Put it together. Got the little brain logo on there, and
yeah.
I actually have never promoted my CD on an interview with a guest, but because we
put it up again.
Well, because we know these people and they're important to you and me.
There you go.
It's called Dream.
And where can you get it?
Oh, well,
you have a website?
If you want a physical CD, inbox me. I bought 1,000. I've got about 800 left. That was a year ago. I got them.
Okay.
You know how CDs, it's like a business card. You can go to whatever platform you want, look up Carl Sterling Dream, and all the Blue Canoe Records is actually the company that Jimmy signed me with. I have a recording contract for 4 more years, and I never had one when I was a musician, right?
Well, it's time to get moving, buddy.
Anyways, no, so then they just take the proceeds and it goes into the foundation bank account for a foundation I started, and we donate to countries all over the world, people who really need help, who don't have what they need for Parkinson's. So that's the story behind that. But the whole reason I brought that up is Jimmy's a beautiful guy. He's like a brother, and and Jeff, the same thing, man. And Scott Kinsey's so cool too. And it's just so nice to know these people. They're amazing humans, amazing musicians.
Absolutely.
It's just like yourself.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Well, I again, I didn't mean to get off on that.
Like yourself too, I mean,
I try. Sometimes people call me a pendejo. You know what that is in Spanish? Well, it's kind of like a a-hole. But anyways, no, just kidding, not really. So, I try. It's all about helping people. Michael Mallow is here. Hey, Michael, what's up, brother?
Hey, Michael, you're late.
Michael's a great drummer from in the Montreal area. Michael, yeah, you're late, but we'll put this up on YouTube later tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. No, I'll leave that for another time. How I met Haslip. How I met Jimmy.
Oh no, go ahead. I've got time.
We were at the NAMM show in Atlanta. It was the first NAMM show I attended. I think it was the NAMM show in '82, and I guess Toto had the group Toto with Jeff, and I was invited to this party, and I went, okay, I'll go to one of the hotels. And there was this party, and they were all there, and I said hello, and I wasn't really, not the type of guy to, I'll say hello and start talking, but I'm not a kind of a schmooze guy, So Jimmy keeps on looking at me, and I'm going, why is he looking at me? I think the Yellow Jackets played too that night. and I was there, and I hung with Ricky a little bit, but Ricky Lawson.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, God bless him. Jeez.
Yeah, what a great
And
guy too.
so he kept on looking at me, and I'm going like, so I go, I'm at the schmorg, getting the shrimp and all that stuff. And he goes to me, he starts naming people that I know. He started saying Dale Klepsch, and I went, and he started another guy, and then he went Henry Africa's, which was a jazz club out on the island, and I went, no. He went, yeah. I said, you're from Long Island? He says, yeah, man, I remember seeing you playing in Henry Africa's, man. I went, holy crap. He told me, I think he was born in the city or born in Brooklyn or the Bronx. I'm not sure. Don't hold me. But, Port Jefferson and then Huntington, or Huntington and Port Jeff. I don't know.
Right.
Or maybe no Port Jeff. Maybe he grew up in Huntington.
Jimmy? You're talking Jimmy, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he grew up in Huntington. Yeah.
And then from there, it was just like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
We kind of probably knew each other in passing on Long Island,
Is that funny?
And he started Jim West. I'm going, how do you know? And then I went, you're from, yep, that was it.
Yeah, there you go,
and
man.
so there was a long friendship,
Oh, what a great guy. By the way, Steve Hunt is watching right now. Hey, Steve, what's up, man?
Oh, you're late too, Steve.
He says, everything is necessary. That must be an inside joke. We were talking about you, Steve. We talked about you a couple times here at length, I would say, because we love your CD and you're a great guy.
Yes, we do.
We really do. We love it. Beautiful.
Although I haven't gotten it yet, but I heard some of the tracks. Hey, Steve, who was the bass player that we did the recording with in Rhode Island? He's going to kill me. Hurry up.
Yeah, that's right. We were talking about that.
Hurry up. Come on.
Go to the...
Who's the bass player? Really great guy. And his new baby was named Max. I remember his kid's name. Come on, we're waiting.
Yeah, there's about a 10-second delay, I think, from what we're saying to actually having them hear it, so we can hang and wait.
That's fine. We'll put it up. Ed Spargo. Yeah, thank you.
There it is.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna get help from him. It's a great record. We had a blast.
That's cool. I'll have to look that one up.
Ed Spargo.
So you met Jimmy that way at NAMM. He's naming off names. That's great, man. Yeah, he's funny, man. It's one of the things too is having conversations like this. I'm interested in some of the history, and the history involves stories, and stories can just be so fascinating, so funny sometimes. And Steve says that was a great session. And Jimmy, I've heard more stories from Jimmy and Peter Erskine too, because he's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Peter's like the storyteller king, and he'll get you laughing so hard.
Jimmy.
And Jimmy and Peter together, that's really funny.
Oh gosh. Oh, brother.
That's great. Well, listen, man. So for those who are watching, I appreciate the interaction. I love that you're here joining us. Such an honor to talk with Tom. Have you as my guest is a great thing, my friend. And
the honor's mine, really. Thank you.
This has been a lot of fun. Like I said before, you've really impacted a lot of us, and we appreciate everything. We just appreciate you. And
thank you. Thanks.
So many ways, and keep up the great work. And I really don't feel like going, but I have to in a minute. So
yeah, me too.
Stuff to do before
my wife. Where are you?
Ditto. So we got a couple things to do though, but this has been fantastic, and thank you again.
Thank you very much. Please do it again, and stay safe, be well, everybody out there too, and thanks again, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you. And thank you, Anthony. And Michael Mello says he was having a beer with Mark Egan at the Montreal Jazz Fest in a hotel lounge. And so, he was telling me about this the other day. We were talking about this. Saw Tom jamming with Mitch Foreman.
Did we
Montreal. like in a little hotel or something like that. Right?
Yeah, I spilled a beer on some guy. And, oh God! I said, "I'll buy you a beer, man. I'm so sorry." You know, he was ready to lay into me. Anyway, I remember that.
Oh man.
Oh gosh.
Well, we will do it down the road too, and I'll keep an eye out. And if you think of it, keep me posted on this. Any kind of masterclass or workshops you're doing, and
I
maybe
will.
we
I
can
will.
talk about it. I'll try to help promote however I can.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna try and do a streaming thing within the next 2 weeks and see how that goes. You know, on Facebook. You know,
awesome.
Try that. See how that goes. You know.
All right. All right, my friend. Well, hey, listen, thanks again. All right, we'll stay in touch and keep up all the great work, Tom.
All right.
You're the man.
And keep on going. Well, you're the man too. I'm telling you, keep doing your great work that you've been doing. You know, really.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. Have a great night, my friend. Take care. We'll be in touch.
Stay warm.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
All right. See you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.